Before we get into today's episode, I want to share something that you probably already know. Your life doesn't change because you want it to. It changes because you decide to do something about it. And that's exactly why I'm hosting my January goal setting workshop again. And honestly, this year's version is the best one I've ever created. Last year, hundreds of you told me that the workshop changed the way that you see your goals, your habits, and most importantly, yourself. But this year, I've redesigned it because people don't struggle because they don't have the tools. They struggle because they don't have the right mindset to help them. So this year, instead of a one-day event, I'm taking you through a 3-step journey that actually sticks. Over 3 different workshops, 2 online and 1 in person, I'm going to guide you through the exact process I've refined over the years of building my business and transforming my own life. So if you want to join my workshop, you can get 10% off with the code WORKSHOP10 on my website. I'll leave the link in the bio, and I can't wait to meet so many of you in January. Let's get back into the episode. Your relationship with food is never just about food. It's about how you think, how you feel, and what you believe you deserve.
I still have a chip in my tooth from a girl that bottled me one time. She called me a slut because I had these massive boobs. Eventually, it was just the way people would look at me that really got to me. But I remember really hoping that someone would notice that I had a problem. But then the fact that they didn't meant that I wasn't small enough.
Do you feel like now you're addicted to running though?
The worst things to be addicted to.
What steps did you make to be sure about yourself that you don't care about other people's opinions?
I focus on my bank balance.
So money makes you feel worthy?
I just feel like I've felt that judgment all my life, and now I'm just at a point, turning 30 has just made me be like, well, it.
No one's going to like you if they benefit from you not having any boundaries. They're going to be the ones that are saying, you're difficult, you're this and you're that.
I always thought people that perceived me as just unhygienic because I just hated getting the shower. I just couldn't look at my body.
How did that change? We talk so much about relationships with partners, with friends, with work, but the longest, most complicated relationship you'll ever have is the one with yourself. And for so many of us, that relationship gets reflected in how we treat our bodies, how we eat, how we speak to ourselves, how we measure our worth. My guest today, Savannah Sachdev, has spent years helping people heal that relationship, not through restriction, but through reconnection. Because your relationship with food is never just about food. It's about how you think, how you feel, and what you believe you deserve. So if you've ever found yourself in a cycle of guilt, control, or confusion around eating, this episode will help you rebuild trust with the most important person in your life, you. This is A Millennial Mind, and today, Savannah Sachdev is here to change your mind on your relationship with food and yourself. So make sure you're subscribed, make sure you're following, make sure you have a notepad for this one. Savannah.
Hi.
Welcome to Millennial Mind.
Hi.
It's really interesting. I found your content maybe a year ago.
No, stop with me.
And then I met you at this like brand event morning, at Dr. Hazel's.
Oh, yeah.
And that was the day that actually was the first day I was coming into the studio. So I was there in the morning and then I was coming to see the set, and me and Hazel were recording in the afternoon.
Fine.
And then I don't know why we just in the last month have become friends. I can't remember.
Connection at the hip.
But I feel you're someone who, I don't know, you are somebody who heals a little bit of my inner child because you're just so fun and free and you're so yourself and you just don't care about what other people think. Do you think that's true?
Yeah. I've just got to that point where I've just stopped giving a crap. Am I allowed to swear?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've just, thank goodness. I just feel like I've felt that judgment all my life, and now I'm just at a point, turning 30 has just made me be like, well, fuck it. Yeah. Also, so interesting, when I met you, I remember coming away being like, it's interesting that we do this, but I felt like such a failure because you were so put together. I just remember being like, oh shit, this woman is smart. I need to go away, I need to read. And then we hung out more, and I feel like you have bouts of both sides of you. I think you're really put together and succinct, when you also have a really cool, fun inner child.
Thank
you bring that out with me as well.
Oh, that's so sweet. It's so funny that when we compare ourselves to other women, we don't realize that we are actually in awe of them, but they are in awe of us.
Yeah.
It's like a two-way street.
Yeah.
Because people see things in you that you want, and I'll see things in you that I want.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
It's weird how you're so drawn to an energy though, isn't it?
I 100% agree on that. It's because we're both so
and
crazy.
Yeah.
I want to talk today about how you can change your relationship with food, because you are someone who has changed your relationship, not only mentally, physically, emotionally, But I think there's a lot of people struggling right now, especially as we're going into like the holiday period. They really struggle with their relationship with food. Do you think you can change your relationship with food?
I mean, I have, definitely. I think it's something that is obviously it's a really tricky topic, especially right now. Like, there's cheat substances that you can take, and it seems that the world is just getting smaller and smaller. And I feel like my social media is just, sorry, if anyone wants to watch, are we watching this or no?
We're watching.
Well, I'm a new Fringe owner, and so like I'm like hyper aware.
It looks really nice.
It feels so weird. Like I'm
really like it.
So overstimulated by it. I feel like it's just we're being bombarded with all these images and all the people that we've loved for so long, and their bodies are just shrinking. So like this is a time generally of we're just so overstimulated by the amount of women that are taking up less and less space. So I feel like give yourself the freedom to give yourself forgiveness if you're struggling with that too, because I think that's super normal. I don't think that I've healed, but I don't think anyone really does. I think it's a battle that you will have forever. And I think it's just, giving yourself the freedom to be kind to yourself and get past.
What was your first relationship with food? What do you remember it as?
I actually have a really, really vivid memory of the summer I was 12 and coming back to school after that summer holidays and so I went to a boarding school and I was one of the only people of colour there. I remember coming back after that summer holiday and having lost a significant amount of weight because my parents had got divorced, and also I guess maybe I was just a bit more active over that holiday. So I had like a little bit of anxiety combined with just being a little bit more physical. So I was maybe eating less and moving more. I remember losing quite a lot of weight and coming back to school. And because I was one of the only people of colour there, I already felt quite ostracised. But I came back and for the first time, people noticed me and were nice to me. And I put it just hand in hand that was why, that it was because I was smaller and therefore they perceived me as better and prettier. And that kind of created like a thing that then lasted for maybe 15, 16 years.
So it was from the moment that you were 12 that you recognised that perhaps people like me, people are nicer to me.
Yeah.
I'm pretty because I'm thin.
It's the first time people noticed me. It's the first time that a boy noticed me. It's the first time that the girls were nice to me. It was the first time family members called me pretty. Like, it was the first time I actually felt acknowledged for being feminine.
Did they say you were feminine?
It's the first time I felt like that's what people were noticing. Yeah. I hadn't felt feminine before then. I'd always been seen as like a bit of a tomboy because I've always been so into food and so bubbly. And in my mind, I was really feminine. I was such a girly girl. I love makeup. I love painting. I love being creative. But it was the first time anyone would call me pretty.
That is so interesting. I was always a tomboy growing up. I'd say it was only in my 20s that I thought I was girly, by the way. Never, ever before. But what's interesting about that and what you've just told me, and because I've recorded a couple of podcasts on this, is that perception is reality. So I'm sure that like for you, that is the memory that you hold. But I'm pretty sure, just like hearing your story, that's not the reason why people said that to you.
Yeah, maybe.
You know, it's just like we have these things of saying like, now I'm thin, but maybe it was because you were glowing, because you were moving more, and maybe you were like doing more things that you loved. I have no idea. Maybe. Or maybe you came back to school and, you know, I think sometimes when I went back to school, people were nicer to me in certain terms for no apparent reason. I don't know. There is a study that someone told me about in a podcast where there was somebody who put a marking on someone's face, like across from their ear to their mouth, so it looked like it was a scar. And then the person showed them that they had the scar on their face, right? Then they said, I'm just going to adjust it. And they removed the scar. Then that person went to go and speak to someone and they said they were looking at me weirdly, but they never had a scar on their face.
No way.
But it was their perception.
Maybe.
Because they were so sure that they had this scar on their face. Does that make sense?
Yeah, potentially.
So for you, I think because you were thin and you went back and you were like, well, this is a good thing. I feel probably a bit lighter. I feel a bit better. Now I feel more in my feminine. People are going to be nice to you maybe because you're more confident, because you're more energetic, maybe because you present yourself in a different way, because you from within feel confidence.
Maybe, but then I would also say at that age, I wouldn't have noticed that people had seen me any differently at 12. Do you know what I mean? Like literally family members were saying I looked pretty. Or like I had my first date when I was like 13, 14.
At 12, you started associating your weight with the fact that you were now pretty, more feminine, and people liked you. Did you continue being at a low weight then? Were you always moving more? Is that when you fell in love with exercise or?
So because I went to a boarding school it was a very sporty boarding school, so we were encouraged to do a lot of sport. So it's really easy to keep up physical activity. But I remember, like, I actually really wanted to be noticed for it. Like, I remember the smaller I got, the more people, or the more attention I got for like socials from boys, from girls perceiving me as popular or cool. But I remember really hoping that someone would notice that I had a problem. But then the fact that they didn't meant that I wasn't small enough. Do you know what I mean? It meant that I wasn't like succeeding at being, and like I would try really hard, and I think maybe it's just like my genetics. I'd eat there was a campaign at the time that was like, eat a bowl of this cereal a day, and I would have a bowl of that cereal a day, and that would pretty much be it.
And I was boarding school. Didn't you have to eat the meals that they gave you?
Well, the boarding school was quite big, and it was like a whole village, and you could pretty much come and go as you wanted. Like, you could come in and out of meals as you wanted. So because you could just disappear to your room. So I'd have that bowl of cereal and then do like an hour of exercise or an hour and a half of exercise. I remember just being like, can't anyone see how small I'm getting? But people were just praising me for how small I was getting, or like telling me I looked great. And I had these massive boobs because I had a breast reduction. So I think I just had this figure at a stupid young age that other girls were coveting.
Oh my gosh, wow. This is so interesting because how old are you now? You're 30?
Yeah, 13.
You're 30.
Oh, 30 now, 30, about to turn 32.
Okay, so you grew up the same age as me. It's like the millennial generation, where the Y2K era, where all we learned was about how amazingly thin celebrities were and how we should aspire to be like them.
Yeah.
Right? Like, every celebrity was like paper thin. Victoria's Secret models, their bones sticking out. And we used to look at that thinking like that was the ultimate. Even me in magazines, I used to think like, wow, I can't believe these people are so skinny. It's so amazing.
Yeah.
Especially if you're at boarding school and you're going through this really difficult time where your parents are divorced, I can imagine you feel quite isolated.
Yeah.
So at what point did people start to notice? Because obviously if you're having a bowl of a cereal a day, when did you become unwell?
Well, I tried to get people, like, no one really noticed. I just wasn't getting small. I guess my genetics were, because I had these massive boobs, because I did have curves. I didn't.
So even with eating such a small amount, because you had curves, people just thought you had an amazing body because you had big boobs, big bum.
Yeah, and obviously if you're having a bowl of cereal a day, I'd get to like a Saturday and I'd like binge. So I was getting the calories in elsewhere, but I kind of just hoped someone would notice, but just no one did. And I remember going to the medical center and being like, do you want to should I just have a check? And it was so hard, like, just no one noticed. Yeah.
At what point did that start to change?
Honestly, I would say I had quite a lot of issues with my body image. I've never spoken about this online, really. I've had quite a lot of issues with my body image until I was about 21. Okay. And then I had a breast reduction.
Okay.
And that's when I started to, when my boobs got smaller, then I was able to partake in sport in a way that I would actually enjoyed, in a way that was comfortable. And that's kind of when I kind of really found my groove.
Because when you didn't have a breast reduction, your boobs were so big.
They were so big, yeah.
It was painful?
It was uncomfortable, yeah. But also at that time, I don't know if you would have found this, but it was so hard to find sports bras generally, let alone if you had a small back and huge boobs.
Oh, no. I've been always like, I've never had that issue. If I'm honest, I've never had that issue of feeling uncomfortable when I run or anything. Like, in fact, I want your issue of like, please let me a little bit uncomfortable. Like, someone make it a bit uncomfortable. But okay, so you found it difficult to find sports bras.
Yeah.
Did you ever get mocked at school?
Oh, massively. I still have a chip in my teeth from a girl that bottled me one time.
Why?
She called me a slut because I had these massive boobs.
Oh my
Just because at that time it was okay to call girls sluts, and I'd just wear the same stuff as all of my friends. But because I had my boobs out, because I was wearing the same vests and tops as my friends. Wait, I can show you a picture. Do you want to see a picture of like, do you remember those like Abercrombie?
Yes,
Abercrombie
vest tops.
Yeah, there was the vest, and there was like the Henley tops with the long sleeves.
Yeah. I used to love those.
I used to wear this top all the time. And fair, you'll be like, Savannah, why were you wearing this smaller clothes? But
I remember that because I was so conscious of my belly. Mine would look awful in it.
Yeah, exactly. Because it sat. Everyone wore the same ones. Yeah, that's how I used to dress at school. Like at boarding school, like I had these massive boobs and like these tiny. Do you remember those Abercrombie and Fitch little like?
Oh my god, I think I have those shorts.
Yeah, literally. I was so young. But everyone would wear those tops and their boobs wouldn't be out like that.
Oh my gosh. But they look so perfect. Like I'm looking at that being like, wow.
But I'm like 14. Like I had this like really womanly body, super young.
Oh my goodness. Yeah, you're so right.
Do you know what I mean? So like no one else had a body like that. And they were just wearing those tops and they just looked like young teenagers, whereas I look like a woman.
You said actually in one of your TikToks, I felt over-sexualized and dirty and I was being punished for my curves when you were talking about your breast reduction surgery.
Yeah.
Talk to me about that. Why did you feel like you were being punished for your curves?
Because I'd wear the same thing as everyone else, but it looked like I was getting my boobs out. And you start to get attention and you don't want attention and you feel really dirty, but you just also want to dress like everyone else.
Why dirty? Why did you use that word? Did someone call you that?
Just because you're a little girl and you're right, you feel like a little girl, right? But you're getting a lot of male attention. So
and it's not nice attention.
Not when you're that young. I mean, I really didn't enjoy it. And it definitely made me sexual from a little bit younger than I would have wanted to be. Like now I look back and I feel bad for the girl that felt like that was all she had to offer.
Wow.
Do you know what I mean? Because of the school I went to, I felt so ostracized because there weren't any other Indian girls in my year. I didn't know really any other brown people except from my family. That I then was just like, well, the only thing I have to offer the world is my boobs. So, yeah.
And then how did it feel kind of making that decision to get breast reduction surgery? Because I can imagine as somebody who thought that was the only thing they had to offer, at what point did that shift then? Because then why would you get breast reduction surgery over the thing that you value the most? Does that make sense? Or you think that other people value about you the most?
Honestly, it was terrifying. It was so scary. Yeah, it was so scary. I had a doctor's appointment. I basically, after school, I just got into the habit of wearing baggy men's clothes. Like no one could really see my figure. Like my mum couldn't really see it. Everyone saw me as this tomboy, right? And then I remember I went to a doctor's appointment once, and I don't know if you're like this, but my mum still pretty much has always gone to my doctor's appointments with me. I remember being like in my 20s, my mum going with me, and I had to take my top off, and she was like, holy crap, Savannah. She was like, your boobs are massive. And I was like, yeah. And then she was like, are you comfortable like that? And I was like, no. And then she was like, basically changed my life. And she was just like, if you want support, we can go have a doctor's appointment and you can have a breast reduction. Like I will help you. I will support you to get that. And that changed my life. Like also I didn't know that was even an option. I had never considered getting a breast reduction, but then came the question of, do I want to get rid of the thing that makes me beautiful, that makes me valuable?
That makes me different from everyone else.
Yeah. And I had so much anxiety around it because it was so much of my value to the world for so long. But also, I was ready to give something else to the world, to be someone else. And I was going to university and I was just like, yeah.
How old were you at this point?
When I actually had the operation, I was 21.
But at this point where you went to the doctors?
Like 20.
And you were going to university at that time?
Yeah.
That breaks my heart that you never felt that you could tell someone that you were uncomfortable or that it was hard for you. And it was only when you went to the doctors and you took your top off and someone noticed that you said... Yeah.
I also think in terms of like, I don't know how much to speak about this on here, but in terms of your sexual life, I feel like I would have just had a way better time if I was more comfortable in my body. Do you know what I mean? Like it's so hard to enjoy sex if you're always covered up. Like,
did you always have to cover up because you were so scared?
I just hated the way I looked. They were so big and they hung so low against my body. And bear in mind, like I don't think that's a bad thing at all. I think your body's your body and it's beautiful. But I was a young girl with these like really large, heavy breasts that hung to like my belly button. They were so big, and I had like a 28 back. I was quite a small girl. And
you weren't eating.
Exactly. And so and also they maybe got looser because I'd lost that weight so quickly, so severely.
And you're running without a sports bra and all of that.
Exactly. Like it was so hard to figure out. So yeah, when I was able to get them cut off, I'm so happy I did it. I'm so happy I did it. To be honest, I would consider having a second breast reduction now because they have grown back. Because obviously, this is the thing no one ever tells you when you have a breast reduction. So obviously, your body wants to naturally hold weight where it wants to hold weight. So if my body naturally holds weight in the breasts area, as I've gained weight over the years, not a lot of weight, but as my weight fluctuates, obviously I'm going to hold more weight in my breasts. And I got them reduced to like a B and they're up to like a double D/E now. So now I'm like, oh, they're a little bit uncomfortable. It's not actually where I wanted them to be. I loved it when I had the reduction. I probably, if anything, want them somewhere in the middle. But I think now I'd probably just wait till if I ever get the opportunity to have kids, I'd probably just wait for that and then maybe do it afterwards.
This is so interesting for me because I think as somebody who has grown up with zero curves, it's so refreshing to hear the other side of the story of somebody who wants what you have.
Yeah.
Because I was always told I wasn't womanly enough. Because I've never been feminine until I would say in the last few years, I have felt really feminine. Before that, I've always been in my masculine energy.
Really?
Always.
But then we have very similar, not similar family environments, similar cultures.
Correct.
Imagine going to a family event with cleavage.
I can't imagine it. I actually, you know what? I actually can't imagine it because I remember being 16 and going to a family function and I was wearing a bra. And I remember distinctly someone putting me into a room and being like, what are you doing? Yeah. And I had zero cleavage, zero, none. All you could see was my black bra strap with my black top. Yeah. And I said, what? And they were like, you can see your bra, that's so shameful. Yeah. And I remember exactly where I was. I remember feeling so awful and so upset because I thought I'm just wearing a bra. And it's not like I was wearing like a lace bra or showing off. It's just that it was a really hot day and I took off my cardigan or something and you could see my bra. Now, I can't imagine how it must have been culturally for you to go to a family function, to go to a wedding, to go to a community event and to have cleavage and for people to have that judgment on you. Did you have that experience?
It's actually really nice to hear that you went through that because I had exactly the same scenario wearing just like a little vest top because it's like 30 degrees in the summer with the bra strap. And I remember, I can't remember who it was, but they were like, that's so slutty. You can't dress like a slut. Like change your top immediately. But whether or not I'd had big or small boobs, I would have still had a bra strap out. Do you know what I mean? But I remember hating my body for that and feeling like I'd brought so much shame on my family for just existing.
And I feel like for you, because everyone must have commented on your boobs so much, it must have felt like you, and it's natural to you, it must feel like it's you, because at that, when you're so young in your life, I feel like now if someone said that about me, I would be able to own it and understand it, right? But when you're so young and you don't have that self-awareness, nor do you have a resilient mind, it can feel like there's something wrong with you.
And it's your fault.
It's your fault because it's natural to you.
The words aren't as bad as the looks though. Like I feel like I got, the word stopped meaning anything. Like you can call me a lot now. You could call me a slut at the time. I got thrown around so much that eventually it was just the way people would look at me that really got to me. Like, it was my fault for having boobs. But
how did that impact your confidence? Did you ever feel that you were confident when you were younger?
No, not always. And even to this day, like, for example, I've been a content creator for the last few years. I have this mad hang up about, like, I'll host events. If I feel like people are whispering about me, I feel like everyone's whispering about me and talking about me constantly.
What do you think they're saying?
I can't even break, but it can't be as awful as being a 12-year-old being called a slut. Like it's so ingrained in my head that people are laughing at me constantly and that I'm being inappropriate, that now a lot of my job entails me hosting events and being in front of people. And I just feel like people are looking down at me constantly, which is so annoying because my DMs are a really nice place and people are so nice to me online that it's really annoying that I can't host events in real life without feeling not enough.
It's really interesting you say that, because if someone looks at your profile, like when I look at your profile and how I described you to Nick, right? Yeah. And how I opened this podcast, you're someone who doesn't care about what other people think. You're so free and you're yourself.
Online.
This is the thing, isn't it?
Yeah.
Is that's how a random person would perceive you.
That's really important to me that you perceive me like that though.
Why?
Because I don't want anyone to see me as less than confident.
Are you being authentic then?
I am online. You should never do. I save all my energy for myself. I'm on my phone all the time. I'm on my own in my room making content all the time. I very much keep myself to myself.
But if you are presenting yourself one way online, but you feel a different way in real life,
I think it's quite clear online that I'm always by myself.
Why? What's the correlation though there?
What between being by myself and having confidence?
Yeah.
It's just when I feel like I can be my most authentic self.
It's when you're alone.
Yeah.
Right. So what you're saying is the reason why you're authentic online is because you're always by yourself. And when you're by yourself, you feel confident to create that content.
Yeah.
But when you're in groups and speaker events or with other people, you don't feel as confident.
Yeah.
And you think that stems from when you were a child or when you were...
I think so.
Do you feel like the breast reduction made you more confident though?
Massively so.
Really?
Massively so.
Why? Tell me.
Just because I could move better. Like I always say, when I met my partner, one of the first things I was attracted to was actually the way he walked, the way he held himself. Like I think that's a really attractive thing.
Yeah, this is really interesting. We've spoken about this.
Yeah, like he looked very strong. He held himself very confidently. And it was kind of the same when I had my breast reduction. Like, because I could train better, I could move better. I feel like I walked down the street better.
I'm in two minds around cosmetic surgery, by the way. Like things like, I've never thought about breast reduction, obviously, because I've never had to think about that from my personal experience. But like breast enhancement, let's say, for example, I've always thought it'd be really vain of me and that I am basically just fitting the mold from everyone else, right? But I think what's really interesting about what you're saying is that there is a whole side of people who have been teased, been like ridiculed, uncomfortable, painful, like don't have the correct support, feel really low from having something. And doing a surgery like that could actually be really life-changing. It's kind of the same with like laser. Like I had sideburns up to here. Yeah. And in every photo when I was younger, I would smile like this. Or I would go like, I remember at university.
Up close to people, you're like.
Yeah, or like university, when someone would be taking a picture from the side, I would be like feeling sick because I would think, oh my God, they're going to see my sideburn. Yeah. And they'd be laughing at me. But getting rid of those, I didn't think was vain because for me, it was like life-changing. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I would say I was more vain before I got it done because I was constantly looking in the mirror, constantly readjusting, and actually getting them done meant that I stopped.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah. So there's a perception, isn't it, that when you get surgery done, it's out of vanity, but sometimes it's actually not at all. It's like actually quite healing for some people, not only like emotionally, but also for you, like in your case, pain, like you have less pain.
I had a degree that allowed me to move to Spain for 2 years. That was the catalyst that made me do it. I then had a reduction. Then I was like, oh, now I feel comfortable. Because anyone that's had massive boobs will tell you how difficult it is to travel. Because you need 18 bras fucking for a week, like, because you need a bra for different things, you need a bra for different tops, you need a different level of support for any kind of. I can never just go to the gym in a sports bra because there's 4 different kinds of sports with 4 different intensities. You might.
Oh my gosh!
Like, every time I would travel, even like, and they're these massive parachute style things, like, so they take up so much luggage, take up so much space, and I remember that being like, well, now I feel comfortable to move to Spain for 2 years. So then 21 to 23, I moved to Spain for 2 years. And I wouldn't have done that.
If you didn't have the reduction.
I wouldn't have done that without the reduction. That was the thing. So that it fully changed the trajectory of my life.
If you were more confident at this point, would you say this is where you start changing your relationship with food?
Yeah.
How?
Because then I figured out how to move and manage my fitness levels in a way that maybe focused more on performance. And I found ways of movement that I actually enjoyed.
Like?
I actually, so I post a lot online about running. I run every day on social media. I've run every day for about 4.5 years now. But I actually, I love weight training, but I really love walking. Like really love, like that's kind of how we bonded, right? Like we'd love to just go for like 2-3 hour walks. Like I find it clears your head so much. Yeah. And even, I don't know if I showed this, like get out of my head and into my body. That's kind of what movement does for me. I just felt way more comfortable to do all of that. Yeah. I also really like CrossFit, which was so much easier now that I had smaller boobs.
It's really interesting, actually. I've just never, ever heard someone talk about a breast reduction surgery and how much it's positively impacted them.
Yeah.
I think we're always looking for, I just think for me, I've just never had that experience because I've always just wanted bigger boobs.
Yeah, and I think we also only ever hear, like, don't get me wrong, like, you're allowed full control over your aesthetic, but it wasn't just about that. It was about so, like, the mental health aspect, the physical aspect.
Yeah.
There's so much that was impacted because of it. And also I could now go to family events.
And not be ridiculed
wear what everyone else was wearing. Like,
so when you were at university in Spain, and you were feeling more confident because of your body now, you were exercising more, you were feeling happier that you'd moved away, you probably feel like, I can do all the things that I thought I never could before. At this point, were you eating more regularly? Were you eating a bit better at this point?
Yeah, because I had friends around me, so I wasn't able to get so much into because at school I hadn't really had friends. I'd felt like a bit of like the token brown girl that then had a boyfriend and that now could sometimes be cool and go to parties, but I didn't really have a close-knit group of friends. And then went to university and I moved in with a bunch of girls for the first time, and it was really hard to get used to people just like girls being girls in the best way, like just wanting to hang out, wanting to do girly things. Like it was the best, but it also meant that I couldn't binge and restrict in front of them because they were having breakfast, lunch and dinner, which meant that I had to have breakfast, lunch and dinner because girls
are living together.
Girls are so attentive and they notice everything you're doing. Like,
yes.
So they were on me.
But hold on, that's quite difficult because if you are someone who's used to restrictive eating and you think that people only like you because you're thin, Then you think that, okay, people only value me because of my boobs. Then you get rid of your boobs and you think, okay, well, look, now I feel better. I can move more. I can exercise more. I can do all the things that I never wanted to do. People are not calling me names. But how do you change your relationship with food at that point? Like, you can't just go from, okay, girls are watching me eat now, so I'm going to eat, because there must be this fear around, like, I was having one bowl of cereal a day, now I'm having 3 meals with these girls.
Yeah, kind of. But also when you're around other people and they start portion controlling, then you naturally just fall into, because I got really used to having nothing and then having like these massive portions. But because I didn't really want to draw attention to myself, I would just have a nibble when they would have a nibble. And we were spending all this time together. We lived in this flat together in Madrid. And it was like the best time of my life. I feel like I found myself there. We got so close. They were just on me.
For someone who's feeling kind of in that stuck mindset right now, who wants to perhaps make a change, but they've moved into a flat with other girls, or they're in an environment where other people are watching them and they feel anxious, what advice would you give them?
I would honestly say it's so hard, because I don't want to belittle what anyone's feeling, because it is so difficult and it's literally taken me so many years to get out of it. But I've found that shifting my focus really, really helps. Like I was so focused on people's perceptions of me, on the way that I looked, on the way that I dressed. But I don't know what happened, but I think like moving out on my own and having to focus on money and like, and actually finding different, also performance, realizing that people liked me for things that had nothing to do with the way that I looked. So I got super into, that's when I found fitness and became known as the girl that liked to go to CrossFit and the girl that liked to go hiking.
How do you shift that? Because how do you start to see yourself? Because I'm just thinking of someone, right? Like, if you think everyone only likes you because you're thin, or if everyone only likes you because you're pretty, how do you then say, actually, I want to be known as the girl who everybody likes because I'm going to go to CrossFit? Because in that moment, you're like, but no one likes. Yeah, how do you make the shift?
Honestly, you will just get to a point where you're like, say you're 20, you're like, am I going to live like this for 70 more years? Is this literally, am I just going to restrict for this many more years? Because that's what you're going to have to do to maintain where you are. Like, you're going to have to tell no one, you're going to be, however you're feeling right now, is it worth it?
For the rest of your life.
Yeah, you have to really sit in that. Like, and I just decided, I just woke up one day and saw everyone else living. And I was like, how is everyone else having these portion sizes? How are they traveling? How is she so good at singing? How is she so aware of what's going on in the world? Because it literally dims your brain power. Like, I'm convinced now that I'm dumber because I spent years of my life focusing on how to be as small as possible. Like, you do just have to shift your focus. There will be other things that you're interested in. You'll be looking at your mates being like, oh, she's so good at knitting. I wish, when did she learn to crochet? Like, you can put your energy elsewhere. You have to just decide.
Jealousy is one of the best emotions, I think, that people need to
have
tap
to redirect
into.
it. Yeah.
Because if you are jealous of someone,
and you want it.
You want that.
Yeah.
And if you want it, right, then you can create a plan on how to get it.
Yeah, I agree.
If someone has got something, they were not born with it.
Exactly.
Right?
That's the best big sister advice. I agree wholeheartedly.
They weren't born with it. If they can get it, why
so
can't
can
you?
Exactly.
Who has told you that you're not able to?
Exactly.
When someone tells me, oh, that's a bit of like too much of a big thing that you're asking for, I'm like, but someone else has done it, so why can't
I have goosebumps. I say this all the time. I agree.
You know what I mean?
Wholeheartedly.
And I love that you said, this is why I said, like, what was the point? Every single person I interview on this podcast always says, I made the change when I was just sick of being in the same loop over and over and over again.
Yeah.
And at a point where you felt jealous, or like you felt like, why does she have that? You know, I think it's a great thing if you look at someone and you think, why do they have that? But then if you sit there and say, oh, because their parents gave it to them, and because they're pretty, oh, and because they have blue eyes, and oh, because their skin is like this, or because of that.
Yeah.
Are any of those things that you can control?
Yeah, but you need someone
What can you control?
You need to have that tough love with yourself.
You have to. No one's going to come and save you.
Exactly. It's all in your hands.
This is the problem.
Yeah.
I think there's so much advice on there right now that says, you know, this person had a head start, and this person has this investment, and this person has that. 100% true. There's always going to be someone that's better than you.
But it's still an excuse that you're not starting.
It's an excuse. Yeah. I love that. I love that you just said that. I love that it's motivational tangent that we just went on as well. You are watching, so then at this point, you're seeing what people are doing. You're thinking, I want to start doing those things. And then you start doing them, and then people start noticing you for those.
Yeah. And do you know what? One of those things where like it was all my friends had all these skills and talents, and I was looking at them like, wow, where did they learn this? Where did she learn to communicate? Where did she learn to be so good at interpersonal skills? Like, I was looking at everyone do all these things, but the thing that really got me is that these girls had sex lives and I didn't. And I was like, in my early 20s, and I was just like, I am so jealous of the fact that they are able to have sex comfortably and confidently, because I just couldn't. I was so in my head about my body, and I was just like, I knew these were the years. Like I knew that I was letting them pass me by, and they would come back, and Hinge was a massive, I mean, I'm sure it is now, but like that's when all my friends were super excited about Hinge and dating. And I remember like you'd walk your friend to a date, and then you'd sit in a restaurant and just like watch them for safety, right? But we were doing that for each other constantly, but I just wasn't. Like everyone was having sex with multiple men a week, and I just wasn't. And they would talk about, we can swear, right? They would talk about how much they were coming and how much of a good time they were having, and I was just like just wouldn't. And I'd had sex, I just wasn't having sex comfortably. Like I was so.
Describe comfortably to me. What does that mean?
Like I wasn't able to come. Like I hadn't experienced what they had. Like I was so uncomfortable in my skin. I'd always be the girl that wore a massive t-shirt. I hated getting in the shower. Yeah.
You wouldn't be able to look at yourself.
Oh, I hate, yeah. This is the thing. I think people, like sometimes, I always thought people that perceived me as just unhygienic because I just hated getting in the shower, because I hated looking at my body.
So you never showered?
I just would maybe shower every other day, and would hate washing my hair and stuff because I just couldn't look at my body.
How did that change?
Because of all of this, like because I wanted to have sex. I wanted to live the life that these girls were living. I wanted to be, but I couldn't.
But at what point, what were the steps that you took? So you've identified what you want.
Yeah.
But how do you get out of your head and into your body to say, I know what I want now. I feel really shit that all my friends are going on these dates. I feel like I can't ask for what I want. How does somebody who's sitting at home right now, whether this applies to sex, whether it applies to your goals, whether it applies to whatever it is, how do they say, I realize that I want these things. I recognize that I'm jealous of them, but I still feel really insecure. My self-worth is so low and I don't know how to change it.
I mean, I remember really vividly sitting down with my friends one day and just like exploding. And actually for the first time in my life, talking about all of it out loud.
Okay.
And kind of just having a friend intervention, and all of them just giving me tips. And that was actually, so we all sat down together. There was like 10 of us in a room. And one of my barriers for not having sex was that I had a breast reduction. I had the breast reduction, the scars were kind of showing.
Okay.
And we all brainstormed about like, maybe I could get tattoos to cover it. Maybe Savannah should get a sex toy for the first time. Like they gave me all these ideas, but actually speaking about it out loud, actually vocalizing these things that had made me so shut down and so isolated for so long, actually reaching out and asking the people that I loved for help. I don't mean family, I mean friends. Meant that they were able to weigh in and give me support that was actually helpful.
And what were some of those tips?
Getting a sex toy. Like actually figuring out my body.
Wow.
Because also getting a sex toy meant that I had to look at my body. I had to get comfortable with it. And I how could I not appreciate this thing that I could make feel so good?
So facing your fears.
Massively.
I'm trying to like extrapolate the lesson from here. So facing your fears, number one.
Get a sex toy.
You're like, get a sex toy. I'm like, okay, right, right, okay. So facing your fears, right, okay. So let's just take somebody, for example, who maybe doesn't feel comfortable to do something like that. Because there might be somebody who's listening at home thinking that I don't have an issue with sex, but I have an issue with looking in the mirror.
Yeah.
Because I feel like I can't wear certain things.
Yeah.
Or I feel uncomfortable in another area of my life. So how does somebody though face their fears? You just go straight on into it?
That's bloody tough, that.
Isn't it? Because I think it's easy to say get a sex toy and then whatever.
Yeah.
But I think how does somebody go to supermarket or go wherever you go to buy a sex toy? Obviously not in a supermarket.
I mean,
doing that first step is the one that's so difficult.
Yeah. But if everything bleeds into everything, right? So like choosing snacks that honor your body, then learning to move your body confidently, but like just doing things not drastically. I always say comfortable consistency is so important. Like, so now I do this thing where, I jog for a minute of 10 minutes a day, and it's such a small amount that it's accessible, it's not aggressive, and I actually do it every day, and it kind of just bleeds into every aspect of my life. But I would say start really small. Yeah. Like set yourself a rule and just stick to it.
Really, really tiny, small steps.
Yeah.
So you started by obviously using a sex toy. Did you feel more comfortable then to have sex with yourself? Did you feel like that helped you to own your body a bit more?
To understand it.
And then you started getting those things in your life. So at this point, how was your relationship with food? It was getting better because you were like looking at yourself in the mirror, starting to love your body again. Yeah. At what point then did you feel that you were healing that relationship with food?
I wouldn't say actually that I healed my relationship with food for a few more years. I'd say it wasn't till I met my now partner who really helped me.
Why?
Because, I'd lived with girls in Madrid it was hard to hide anything from them, but it wasn't till I lived with a person that really loved me and really delved into things and really asked me questions that then, like, we'd go out for me. If we ever went out for a date and then I'd restrict the next day, he'd be like, no, like, what are you doing? Like, you still need to fuel yourself for another day. Just because we went out on a date last night doesn't mean that you can't. Like, he was just a bit more aggressive with the
really
support.
On top of it.
Yeah, it was super on top of it. Yeah.
Did you continue to be really, really thin though during this period where you came back from Madrid and then you met your partner? Were you very restrictive by yourself after you moved out from those girls?
I'd still say I had some binging and restriction tendencies, but I wasn't very, very thin. I think actually when you're binging and restricting, you get super puffy.
Really?
Yeah, because, I don't know that that's a fact for everyone, but for me, what I was doing was I was restricting so much that when I was binging, I was far exceeding my daily calories or weekly calories because I'd almost lost the ability to learn when I was hungry or full. So I just didn't really have a limit. So I was definitely over-consuming calories.
That's really interesting, actually.
So I was really puffy.
Yeah, because you're restricting yourself, then you think, I can now eat a little bit more.
I can have one meal, but that one meal is like 6,000 calories. Do you know what I mean? Like,
of course.
Because you just don't know how to get full anymore.
So by yourself, actually, it was this constant up and down.
Yeah.
And it was other people's intervention is kind of what helped.
Yeah. And it's not actually until I found my run streak within the last 4 or 5 years that I'd say that now I'm at a place where performance is all I care about.
Talk to me about your run streak. Why did you start running? And were you always very athletic in terms of running? Because you've mentioned you love sport.
Yeah. So I've always been like a gym girl. I've always loved gym classes. So I'm someone that's always loved being outside, but I wouldn't say I've always had to work at being athletic. Like, it hasn't come super naturally to me. Middle of lockdown, lost my job. What
were you doing?
I was working in marketing. Went on furlough, and then job got taken away. I feel like everyone was in that same boat, right?
So tough that time.
Yeah. Also moved in with my partner who has a child from a previous relationship. So I became a stepmom. I'd lost my job and became a stepmom like that. And then we were stuck in lockdown and we were just living together. And I mean, becoming a stepmom
is already challenging.
Challenging, but then find myself in that environment. And I just didn't really have an outlet because I feel like even if I'd been going to work, I'd have had somewhere to go. But I was just in it and I couldn't really communicate with anyone that I was going through it. I wasn't going to tell my friends and family that I was really struggling with it because I didn't want them to perceive, you're super aware that you only ever talk to your friends and family about the negative. So I didn't really want them to then hold on to any image that I'd given them about my home life.
Oh God, so true.
So I didn't really tell anyone how much I was struggling. And then the people that could see it were saying like, oh my God, what a gift. You have a child in your life, what a gift. So like I wasn't telling anyone the truth about how hard I was finding it. So what I started doing was going for a walk/jog to the Aldi to the Asda down the road and getting like a handful of pick a mix there. Like I love pick a mix so much. I have such a sweet tooth. But then I realized how good that was making me feel. And then
the pick and mix or the run?
The combination was phenomenal. And then I got a job in London. And to kind of manage that transition of communicating to my partner that I didn't want to live with him anymore, but I still wanted to be with him, to manage everything that I'd gone through mentally, because I have some other home issues that everyone does. Before I knew it, I'd moved to London on my own and I was 21 days into a run streak. I'd just run every day for 21 days. And then I was like, I'm just going to keep going. Then it was 3 months. Then it was 6 months. And because I'd made the rule of you just need to get up out of bed every day and do 10 minutes a day, I had to just fuel well enough that the next morning I felt good enough to want to do it. Like I just kind of made a rule for myself that was accessible and easy to stick to. And I had to fuel myself pretty well to do it. Because if you feel too sluggish, if you feel too full, if you're eating the wrong foods, if you're not eating enough, there's no way I would have kept that up without getting injured. Because it kind of just came out the blue. Like I didn't really realize what I was doing. I just knew that I wanted that jog. I just knew that I wanted to keep up with that jog.
That's so amazing. So you realized that you loved getting out of the house and that was running.
Yeah.
Then you realized, okay, it naturally came to do it every single day.
Well, I had no other reason to get up out of bed. Like I was so depressed when we were living in Essex together.
Was it a form of escapism?
Yeah, definitely. For sure. Yeah, to get out of my head and into my body. And it just hasn't stopped. And definitely.
Do you feel like now you're addicted to running though?
Yeah. The worst thing to be addicted to. I love it though. I'll be in the worst mood and just change my environment, go for a little jog. I always say online as well, never trust a negative thought that you have indoors. And that phrase has changed the way I frame anything negative going on in my life. If I'm in my room and I'm struggling with something, then I'll just go outside. I'll just go for a jog.
Even if it's pouring?
Yeah, just go for a jog. I think I said this to you the other day. I've actually just ordered a treadmill for my flat, like an indoor treadmill, because I was like, maybe not the safest of things, but I'm like, just got to move that energy.
Yeah, it's so true.
And it has helped me endlessly for 4 years. I think maybe there'll obviously come a point where I can't do the run streak anymore, but I'll definitely do a movement streak. I'll make it so that I have to walk for a minimum of 10 minutes a day or do something for a minimum of 10 minutes a day. I think that'll be my rule forever for myself.
Yeah, mine is walking. I have to walk every single day. But I don't have to think about it. It just comes naturally to me.
Yeah.
I have to.
I think you'd be surprised. A lot of people don't though. A lot of people are just like...
You're right. I really understand what you're trying to say in terms of when you felt so low and you felt like there was nothing else you could do. But I know there are people who I was just going to say that are listening to this thinking, yeah, well, I feel really, really shit. The last thing I want to do is get outside and go for a run. I've never run before in my entire life.
It doesn't have to be a run. It can be a walk. A girl literally messaged me yesterday saying how depressed she was. And she was like, I just don't know how to start. And I was like, you need to make it comfortable. You need to make sure you're wearing things that are comfortable. That doesn't mean the newest aloe outfit. That means wear something that is baggy but supportive, but whatever you need it to be. It doesn't need to be like everyone else, and it needs to not be aggressive. It needs to be as slow as you need so that you actually stick to it. But I think people have lost that, how much movement is medicine.
100%.
It doesn't always have to feel fun, but it's so good for you.
It is so good for you.
I think now I look at it as just brushing my teeth. I would never not brush my teeth. I hate brushing my teeth. I hate getting a shower, but I'm going to do it.
Me too. I hate going for a shower.
Exactly.
But I have to do it.
Exactly. I have to go for my jog.
That's so interesting.
Made that rule.
Yeah, I feel like I have to go for my walk.
Exactly.
You said that you were living with your partner at the time. And obviously we talked around, coming from a South Asian background earlier and being judged for having, big breasts. Did you feel like you were judged for being a stepmom from your community?
I don't know if I was judged so much as it was in my head that I was going to be judged. But this weekend is the first time I've introduced my partner to my family, my wider family, almost 8 years in.
And you've been with them for 8 years, yeah?
Yeah, everyone was fine. It was fine.
Wow.
I mean, I actually don't know if anyone has any issue with it, or no one said anything to me, but it was last weekend that I did for the first time.
Why did you have to wait so long?
I just wanted to wait till I was at a point in my life where I could take the criticism if there was any. I just needed to know that I was strong enough, that I'd be fine. And now I'm in a position where I work so much on myself every day, and I'm in a position where I actually like who I am, that you could say that you weren't happy with my relationship, and I'm like,
I'm happy with it.
Yeah, it's fine.
What steps did you make to be sure about yourself that you don't care about other people's opinions?
I focused on my bank balance.
Really? So money makes you feel worthy?
My career has always been super important to my family. And
to your family or to you?
To my family. And that bled into me and to who I am. And so I just got myself and my career in a position whereby I'm so busy and I really love my career. My focus is now fully that I place so much of my self-worth into productivity and how successful I am at my job, that I actually worry about if that was to disappear, where my self-worth would go. But for right now, I'm really, really focused on work.
What defines success for you?
I do not know. How do I define myself a success? I just create things I actually really like. I look at my output and I look at what I put out into the world and I'm actually proud of it. I think I create content for a living, and my goal is fully to encourage other people to get into movement, to see how it changed my life and to encourage them to have fun with it.
Yeah.
And I would love to get to a point where I'm going into schools and teaching young girls about that. And that's something that I'm very much working towards, getting the credentials to being able to do that. But I think I really, really hope no one's coming to my social media pages and feeling worse about themselves. I do think that you would have a pep in your step if you came to my pages, and you're not going to feel any worse about your life from looking at mine. Do you know what I mean? Like I just hope that what I'm putting out there is positive. And I didn't feel like that before. I felt like I was like super negative and super down. And I think that I don't think I'm successful, but I think I'm working towards that.
In terms of running every day, do you feel like it's putting out a bit of an unhealthy image though, to say that you have to run every single day?
I don't have to. I can stop whenever I want.
Would you?
Yeah, 100%. I would definitely do a movement streak. I think I would definitely rebrand to walking every day or doing something every day.
Yeah.
But it's just also my fitness is acclimatized really quickly.
Yeah. So it's easy for you to run. It's probably like going for a walk for me.
It does feel like, well, I do. I think people have a different perception of running to me. I'd say I shuffle or jog every day. Like I just move a bit every day for 10 minutes a day.
I think what you're telling me is like you found something that you really loved and you're really good at and you're really passionate about and you threw yourself
massively
kind of into that.
Yeah.
And it's really interesting because I think a lot of people don't know what they love. They don't know what they're good at.
But that's what doing... So I set myself a couple of rules over the last few years. This is when I first started social media. I set myself the rule of posting a video a day, and I set myself a rule of the 10-minute run streak. And actually just committing to both of those things, I actually didn't think the end goal would be fitness or social media. I kind of just figured that something else would create out of that. Like I figured it would show me where my talents were.
By just doing.
Yeah, I was like, something needs to change. Like I just need to commit to something and I need to make a change. I can't keep complaining about where I am and I can't keep living the way I'm living. So I was like, I'm just going to commit to this for 6 months and just see where it goes. And I figured other talents would come out of it. But then in the process, kind of realized that I was quite creative.
And you never thought you were creative before that?
No, not at all. Because I'd spent so much time in my head about
who I was.
Just trying to be smaller and smaller and smaller that I didn't know that about me at all.
And what were you creating content about? So you said you wanted to post one video a day. What were you talking about?
I was like, so a few years ago, I was actually signed by a modelling agency. So I was like kind of posting a little bit of the BTS of that. It's so random thing. I remember getting like a job from Mulberry and being like, what the helly? And then also was just slagging off my family.
Did your family not see that?
No, because no one had TikTok at the time and you could block everyone that had your number. You can block it. Yeah, did you not know that? So no one knew I had a social media account until I got to like 50,000.
You are kidding me.
On TikTok, no, I just blocked everyone that had my number.
Why?
So I just didn't, because I was so embarrassed that I was posting these videos. I just didn't want anyone to know. So I just did it privately.
And what did that do for you? Do you feel like you were more free, not knowing that anyone that you knew could judge you?
Oh, for sure. If no one can see what you're doing, you just act so differently. You just because you know people are watching, you don't fully act like yourself. You know what I mean? The minute you take away that restriction, the minute you feel like people aren't watching, you lean so much into yourself.
It's so true.
So true.
Because so often we're so scared about posting what we want to online because we're thinking about the people that already know us.
Yeah, but why is it embarrassing? Why is doing what you want to do embarrassing?
Yeah, it's not.
Yeah, why is being perceived embarrassing? But we're so worried about what other people think that we aren't actually ourselves.
So you blocked all of your family and friends.
Anyone that had my number.
And then when you got to 50,000 followers, is that the point where you thought, okay, well now you can't come at me?
Well, now I was like, how can it be embarrassing if I'm earning from it?
This is why it's so interesting when I said to you, why did you introduce your partner to your family 8 years on? Yeah. And you said, because now it's my job.
Yeah.
Now because I have money.
Yeah.
Do you feel like money gives you power and status over making your own decisions? Because I think it does give you like the control to be like, I don't need to listen to you or rely on you. Like, I don't need you.
Well, I kind of did always think that my purpose in life was to do what I was told, whether that be for my family or for a husband at some point. So like the confidence that's grown from realizing that I can do that for myself.
Yes.
Has been exponential.
Yeah.
So now I'm in an environment where I actually understand that I deserve to be there. But that came from that, and I deserve to have a voice, but that came from growing a profile and kind of other people telling me
that you can.
Yeah.
I completely resonate.
Yeah.
I like totally resonate with that. As Indian women, I feel like we're told that you need to be a good daughter first. And once you finish being a good daughter, you be a good wife.
Exactly. And
if you deviate away from that, then you are someone who's difficult or too much or a bit out there. And, you know, we don't really want to be associated with you until you start helping other women and they start praising you and then you feel confident in yourself for doing that.
Yeah, exactly.
And it's quite harsh, isn't it? It's like a horrible cycle that we have to go through. But, you know, I've really struggled with that as well growing up. And I think that's why I started creating content as well when I started talking about things in my podcast, because I just wanted to have these conversations with other people that felt the same.
Yeah. But then part of me kind of worries for the women that feel exactly the way we do, but they don't feel
They're
like they
stuck.
can, because they still deserve to have a voice. They still
Absolutely.
it shouldn't really have anything to do with your output at
It shouldn't.
all, but it's so hard to separate from that.
Do you think you have separated from that?
I'm still quite insecure in those environments. I still can be insecure in those environments, but I am also very confident in what I put out into the world, and people validate me. Like strangers on the street validate me, which is really nice. And it's really nice to know that what my family thinks isn't the be all and end all. So actually I'm getting confirmation from people that exist outside of my world, which is really nice.
And when it comes to, your confidence in making your own decisions, do you feel like it's allowed you to understand what you truly want now?
I think so, but I also still really struggle with that. Like if I want to go buy something, my initial instinct is to call someone in my family and be like, can I? Am I allowed to do this? And I have to fight that anxiety so much still.
Where do you think that's come from?
All of this. Like my life wasn't supposed to be my own. Like I was supposed to exist to please other people. But like the confidence that's growing from starting my day with a run and saying, which has meant that I've had to say no to 8 other people that needed me to do this for them first, is starting to bleed into other areas. But it's really hard to create boundaries. To set boundaries is terrifying. And obviously people don't like you when you set boundaries. Like the people whose lives you're interrupting, that like that version of you, they get real upset.
No one's going to like you if they benefit from you not having any boundaries.
Exactly.
They're going to be the ones that are saying, you're difficult, you're this and you're that. Yeah. You moved out of your flat with your partner. Mm-hmm. At what stage of your relationship was that?
After living together for a year.
For 1 year?
Yeah.
How did you have the confidence to have that conversation? Because there's a lot of people who are perhaps in relationships where they feel that living with that person isn't the best option for them, but there's only 2 options there. You stay together and you live with them, or you break up because you're going backwards almost.
Yeah, I actually get asked a lot about this online, about how to have that discussion. I think I put a video out the other day and I think it got like thousands of comments from women asking how I did it because they wanted to replicate that. So I think the first point is actually recognizing that there are so many people in that same position as you that actually love their partner,
yes,
but don't want to live with them anymore. And that is okay. Like the traditional relationship setup isn't for everyone, and that's okay. I didn't know that. Like, so I'm actually kind of shook that I did what I did. But now, for anyone that's in this position now, I think just be confident that there's nothing wrong with you. It's super okay that you don't want the traditional setup right now, and you can come back to it anytime. It doesn't mean loving yourself doesn't mean that you don't love your partner, or wanting to love yourself doesn't mean that you don't love your partner. Do you know what I mean?
I do agree with you in the sense that loving yourself doesn't mean you don't love your partner.
Yeah.
And also choosing yourself sometimes doesn't mean you don't love your partner because you're not choosing them 100% of the time. I do struggle though with the idea of not living with the person that you love though.
But because I've been brought up to people please to such an extent, whenever I live with anyone, I can't help myself from doing what they need.
Why?
I find even now, like, if me and you lived together, you would say, I want to go for dinner here. And I'd be like, sure. Like, whatever you want. Like, it makes me feel so good to do what you need. So when I lived with him, I was really happy filling the fridge with what he wanted. But I was happy.
Yes. Because it made you happy to make him happy.
Yeah, and I can't get out of it. Like, I was so stuck in making him happy, and it did make me feel great. But then I got this job and I just had an inkling that I needed to take it. I just had an inkling that I needed to live that I needed to be Savannah first.
What was this job?
It was just a marketing job, but it meant that I had to move to London.
Oh, I see. And at that point, that's when you thought, okay, now I have to choose making you happy or choose making myself happy.
Exactly. Yeah.
So at that point, you decided, I'm going to make myself happy. And
yeah.
How did you have the conversation?
Which was really hard as well because I was a step parent, and like I was making these lovely meals at home, and I was being a traditional mum, and I felt like I was offering a lot, and that made me really happy that I was making them so happy. And the conversation didn't go down very well at all. If anything, I was on sertraline, got really depressed. I avoided actually speaking up and saying what I needed, but the depression just kind of got so bad that we had to have a discussion. I did not handle it well. I don't think that I would have the correct answers in terms of how to have the discussion, but you just have to have the discussion. You can't not communicate what you're feeling. You can't live in what you're living in. You can't just be unhappy. You deserve more than that. And it was kind of just recognizing that it was now or never. Like, I was already so low and he was already asking me why I was so low and why I was stuck in bed and taking all these antidepressants. Once I got that job, I was like, I can't lie.
I think there's so many people that are going to be able to resonate with the fact that they have been given an opportunity that they know that would make them happy, but at the same time, it's going to cost them in terms of their relationship, in terms of their family dynamic, in terms of them moving. And I wonder how many men feel this way.
I wonder. Do you know what? Whenever I posted about it, it's been predominantly women saying, like,
I'm not surprised.
Because men have it a lot more comfortable. Like, women naturally fall into a different position, and so when they get the opportunity to potentially move out and put themselves first, and they're like, wow, I didn't realize this whole world existed. I didn't realize I could live with this like this and put myself first, because now my partner has to drive to me and he has to date me.
It's also the fact that I think when someone says, if we were to move country and I said, we're moving for Nikhil, I think people would be like, oh, okay, cool. If we were to move country and it would be for me and my husband was coming with me, people would be like, that's good that he's coming. Exactly. That's nice that he's accepted that. We never think as women, I think, to put ourselves first and to say, I want to do this. And therefore, it would mean that we all need to shift.
Exactly. Well, now, like, it's this shocking discussion that everyone's like, wow, Savannah, you've done something so revolutionary. But men have gone to work for years. They've gone, like, one of my best mates, her dad, they have a family home in Essex, and then their dad travels to London to live in his flat in London Monday to Friday, and then he comes home. No one's ever questioned it. That's pretty much my setup.
Yes. Literally, no one questions it.
No one questions their
Actually,
setup.
He's going to work for the family. He's going to do what he has to do.
Exactly. To earn money for that. How valiant of him. But with me, I'm selfish. I'm putting myself first. That's selfish. Because I live in London now. My stepson and partner live in Essex. And Steve and his ex-partner share custody of the little one. So whenever he has him, they'll come stay with me, or I'll stay with them at the weekends. But during the work week, Steve will always come stay with me.
Yeah.
In central London.
Yeah.
For like a few days on and off, and he'll have to date me in London. So he has to come to me and he has to treat me like a girlfriend, which is wonderful for me. I get the best of all of it. Like, because when we lived together, I just became a mum.
And what's the difference, you think, between them?
What, as in?
Being a mum and a girlfriend.
Oh, so I actually... Just really? Everywhere. Miles apart. The way he has to respect and value, and he can't take me for granted now because we don't live in the same home.
Do you feel moms are taken for granted?
Yeah.
There's an expectation put on them.
Hugely so. Whereas now I'll act in the way that I used to, and he'll be like mind blown by how generous and kind that is. And I'm like, I literally used to do this for you all day, every day.
How old were you when you became a stepmom?
25, 26.
Was that a difficult decision you had to make when choosing a partner?
I don't think I really understood how much of a commitment it was. It was a lot.
When you're 25 and 26, it's a huge commitment.
Yeah. Especially for not really communicating it with anyone. Definitely. But then I'd always been so used to being ostracized and not really having a community. So I shouldn't really communicate with anyone. I just did it.
And how do you feel that's had an impact on you now?
Do you feel just like making that decision?
Yeah.
I don't know. I feel like everything happens for a reason. I feel like I've learned so much because of it. I also don't think I'd have started my current job unless that chain of events had happened. So I think also my partner gives me a lot of confidence now in the sense that, like, I imagine doing our job would be really difficult with someone that didn't get it. And he gives me so much confidence to get my phone out and film myself. And he tells me how great I am. He tells me how creative I am. He tells me that I'm good at my job constantly. So I actually do think I think you do need that in our job because the mental health side of our job's significant.
So you moved to London, doing this marketing job. How on earth did you become a content creator?
I have always been someone that's had side hustles. So I was working my job and I was running social media accounts on the side.
Okay. Because you started running in lockdown. So you started talking about it then, right?
Yeah.
On TikTok. Yeah. When you blocked everyone.
Yeah.
At this point, had you moved into London?
This was literally like within the few days of me moving to London.
Okay.
So moved to London, had a marketing job. Whilst I had a marketing job, I had my job, I was posting on social media and I was running social media accounts for a couple other brands.
Okay. How did that come about? Just from your marketing job?
No, actually, just from like going up to people at the gym, asking, like with small businesses, asking them if they understood social media, if they wanted support with it. I've always been a bit of a blagger. Like I've always I would just ask, yeah.
And why did you feel the need to have many jobs at the
Because my
time?
mum's never had a 9 to 5. My parents have never had 9 to 5s. So I've always had, me and my partner always say this, his parents have always had 9 to 5s, mine haven't. And I think growing up with that just changes. Like I'd find it really, I've always found it hard to have a boss because of it. Like my mum's told me the stories about how she could never. And so like, I feel like that's kind of bled into me. And it's me and my partner are so different. Like I've never been I can't afford that girl. I've always been how am I going to get that girl? Always, because my mum's been like that.
It's so you never look at something and think I can't afford it. It's like how much money? How am I going to make the money?
To the extent that like I've done some wild things to get a few quid. Like, I mean, there's like even before I did social media, there's media. Like I've looked into trials, like those trials, those medical trials. I've like done online surveys. There's videos of me on the internet and like for like knicker brands, just being like, I would sell like those videos for like, so back in the day, you could make a video and sell UGC content for like 100, 200 quid. So I just like sell it to brands. I've always found a way of making a few quid when I just needed cash.
Yeah.
So I was working in London, and to live in London is hard.
Yes.
And I was on my own. I'd moved up and living with my partner. So I was like,
I need to make money.
I need to make money now. So I was working my 9 to 5. I was posting for myself, and I was working for some just smaller brands.
How did you have the time to do that all though?
I was getting up at like 4:30 to run, to make my video, to then go to work all day, to then make the brand's videos at lunchtime, to then finish my 9 to 5, to then come home and do more brand work. Like I was literally like 5:30 till 9:30 kind of, like I was just working flat out. I was just working constantly for a couple of years, but I'm so glad that was because that's enabled me to have more balance down the line. So like,
you believe that you need that a period in your life where you're grafting.
Yeah, I think that's balance. I think everyone's balance looks different.
What if someone looks at that right now and says that's so toxic? You're just focusing on your work.
Thank God I didn't listen. I don't know. I think everyone's balance is so different.
So true. I actually completely agree with you.
That's what worked for me. And don't get me wrong, like I don't work like that all the time, but I'm so grateful for that period of me at that age that had that energy, that had that drive, because she's enabled me to now have more balance.
And it was a choice you made. No one was forcing you at gunpoint to it.
Exactly. And I wanted a life, like I wanted to build a life for myself in London. Like it was really important to me to do that.
I love that actually.
Especially because I had to prove myself because I'd moved out from my partner. So I was like, I need to be able to stay here and afford to stay here, because living in London, holy crap.
It's so expensive.
Yeah, holy crap. And then literally talk about manifesting and putting stuff out in the universe. I then posted one day on social media saying, I want to make this my job. Like and one of the guys that I was working for, I posted a video saying, like, I wish I could continue to make these videos and travel and make money from it all. And one of the guys that I had one of the brands that I was working on, he messaged me and he was like, I'll pay you a year's wage up front to do it for me. So like I put that out into the world. I made a video and he saw it and he was like, fine. He was like, do it for me for a year. He then paid me, he matched for a year what my yearly wage was at that 9 to 5. So I was like, if I don't go all in now, I was like, I'm never gonna get this chance back. I'm 24, 25. I was like, fuck it. Like I've got a year's wage. So then knowing the amount of hours that I put into working, I was like, if I continue to work 5:30 to 9:30, but I put it into my business. So I just smashed my own content for a few months.
But why did he want to invest in you?
Because I'd been doing some work for his brand before. He was one of the companies I was working on. But I'd never vocally said, like, I want to do this full time for myself. I was just making videos for brands. Do you know what I mean? So I put that piece of content out. He saw it and he was like, I love what you've been doing for me.
What was the brand?
It was a rape whistle alarm.
And he said, if you make content about this alarm.
I was making videos for him, anyway. And then he was like, if you should do it for me for a year, I'll match your year's wage. He was like, put out 3 or 4 videos a day, I'll pay you a year's wage. And that taught me to get my content output high. So that taught me to like make videos, bang, 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 in a way that TikTok needs you to. So I was just doing that really quickly. I learned to get my output up and was able to make it my job full time.
Did you ever burn out? Because that's what a lot of people will be watching this right now. But like, surely you can't maintain that. Yeah. 3 or 4 videos a day is crazy. Yeah,
but I'm also quite, like whenever burnout comes, I'm like, I don't really beat myself up for it. I kind of just I think beating yourself up for it would be wasting that time. Like I just take the downtime. I just take the time off.
I think people work differently as well. I'm somebody who needs to work at I'm similar. I wake up really early, go to sleep late, sleep very little, and then I have to rest for a period of time, and then I go again. But I struggle to do like consistent, moderation.
I'm not always struggling at all. Yeah, I'm like kill myself for a short period and then take a break.
Wow.
And then I enjoy the break, like even my partner will sometimes be like, you've been watching TV for like 4 hours. I'm like, no, I enjoy this break. Like I've worked for weeks. I'm taking a few Sundays off to now just do nothing. Like I know
This
I
kind of
deserve it.
reminds me of like binge eating though and
Yeah,
restricting.
probably. Yeah, maybe.
Do you think there's still a link there?
I actually don't think so. I think my brain just, I mean, people always tell me I have ADHD. I don't know. I don't know if that's true. I've never been diagnosed for anything, but I think when people, it's a thing that people meet me and they tell me that it's clear that I have. I don't know if that's the truth. I just think that's the way my brain works.
Yeah, and it's always worked that way.
Yeah, but then interesting, one of my friends told me that eating disorders are fairly prevalent in people with ADHD.
Really?
Yeah. I have done no research into that. I don't know. But he is someone that has very severe ADHD, and he was telling me that he suffers with the same thing, and his work efforts are now really similar to mine as well. Maybe there is a link.
Do you feel like you're running every single day is a way that you can control your calories a little bit? Do you feel like the disordered eating is still there? Maybe it's not as prevalent as I need to be really skinny, I need to be a size 2, whatever it is. But do you think it's like I run every day so I can eat what I want?
It does definitely help me to get up and manage my head. Like I wake up and I have a lot of personal things going on. Yeah. However, I don't run in a way that's aggressive enough to burn that many calories. Like I don't.
Like really? Because I ran with you one day and I burnt a lot of calories on my Oura.
Yeah, your body acclimatizes, I guess. Like,
yeah, true.
But if I'm doing 10 minutes a day, so like there'll be 3 or 4 days a week that I'm literally just going for a 10-minute jog, which is less than 10,000 steps.
Yes, true.
That would be the equivalent of doing like a 30-minute jog, 10,000 steps. Like I'm doing 10 minutes for that day. And it means I get up, I get my energy moving, and then I sit down and I work for the rest of the day. Because I work for myself now. Yeah. I think everyone should be up and out for a little bit of every day. Yeah. If anything, it kind of just helps me manage my workload. It means I've seen some fresh air that day.
Yes.
It's very specific to me and my job. Otherwise, I wouldn't necessarily see fresh air that day.
So you wouldn't necessarily say that it's gone away, the disordered eating, but it's not necessarily so apparent in the sense I have to go for this time every single day to burn this many calories so I can eat this.
I just think if you've ever been through anything like that, because now I'm in my 30s and I have so much respect for my body and what it can do, and I think I do some really cool fitness challenges. Like I ran 5 marathons in 5 days through the Ptolemaites. You have to eat so many calories to be able to survive that and not get injured. Yeah, like I have to show up every day, and a big part of my job is performance now. You can't restrict.
How did you shift that from a job being about performance to being about the way you look?
I had no choice. Like I got given some opportunities, and I was like, what am I going to do? Not do it. Also, I think I've told you this. Around every marathon, I gain like 5 or 6 kilos. So I'm in a place actually where my body would have felt uncomfortable. Like I have to gain a significant amount of weight because I need to be strong enough to do that, to manage any injuries. So I'm going above what I would have once wanted to be.
Because you've changed your goal.
Because I need to perform. Because I want to perform. Because it's so cool that that's a big part of my personality and what I can offer now.
As a South Asian woman, do you feel like the expectations around food, appearance, and discipline have made it harder or made it easier?
I mean, I don't know what your people are like, but I would definitely say that my family are big feeders.
Yeah, same.
There's a big culture in mine specifically around feeding, but then also we're only really praised when we look a certain way.
Did you feel that growing up?
Very much so. Like it would be you showed your love by eating 3 plates of Mussie's food, right?
Yeah.
But then if your body changed because of that, you'd then face a little bit of the harshness.
Criticism.
Yeah.
For it.
Yeah. I think now like now I have a marathon goal and I want to be able to do 10 pull-ups, and I have a little one as well. And I have a bonus son. If he ever caught any of the thoughts I used to have, I would feel so guilty for that. I'm literally teaching a child how to grow. Like the growth of his body is dependent on
how much he eats.
Yeah. Yeah. And the thoughts that we teach him to have. Like I don't ever want to be detrimental to that in any way. But then the way you speak to a child then does make you reevaluate how you speak to yourself.
I was just going to say, do you think the way that you've kind of showed it to him has changed the way that you've seen it yourself? Yeah.
Like it's so interesting. He'll be in a really shitty mood and then I'll be like, we're going to go out of our heads and into our bodies. That's why we do PE. That's why we go to the gym. Like that's what it's been so prevalent in our family as well.
I love that phrase.
Yeah.
When you think about, the balance, what do you think the difference is between healthy discipline and harmful control? How do you know that there's a difference? Because someone could look at it and say, it's healthy to go for a run every day for 10 minutes. Someone else could look at it as it's like a control mechanism. It's I have to run for at least 1 minute a day.
Honestly, it could be. it's super hard to know. All I know is that I feel happy. Like, and I didn't used to feel happy. And it's not something that plagues my mind constantly now. Like, I'm not at a meal thinking like, how do I avoid this? It's not really something that I think about too often. And me and my partner measure this a lot. We measure a lot of our days by actually, are we happy right now? Like, our goal is to just want to do what we're doing that day.
Yeah, and like a mood tracker.
Yeah, very much so. And I actually feel pretty childlike and happy. And yeah, I mean, I just enjoy the day to day. I didn't used to feel like that.
With disordered eating though, do you feel like it's up and down sometimes? Do you still have those days where you're fearful of food? Or you can be fearful of food?
There are foods that growing up I was really, really scared of that I still haven't challenged.
Like what?
So I have never had like a fun latte, like a fun coffee really. So I've never had like a pumpkin spice latte.
Oh, right. Okay, yeah.
Weirdly. But like you could put cakes, croissants, sweets, all of that in front of me weirdly, but I've never had a pumpkin spice latte to this day. So that's actually something that I keep saying to my partner I really want to do in the season. Like I really want to try because it doesn't scare me in the way that it used to. It's more just gone so long.
Well, you haven't had it.
Yeah, so now I'm just like, maybe it's not something I'd reach for.
So interesting.
There are options like things like that I just have never really challenged. But I would really like to. Like the thought of doing it is really exciting.
Yeah, it's now exciting rather than scary.
Yeah, it doesn't feel scary at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that. So again, facing your fears, kind of how you do with a sex toy. You know, you're going to go get a pumpkin spice latte.
And a sex toy.
Okay. What advice would you give to someone who feels like they'll never get rid of their disordered eating? I
would say that you need to, we did just say this, but I'd say that you need to really evaluate where you are and if this is how you want to live the rest of your life, because God forbid you have the rest of your life to live and you have a long time left to live. And are you actually happy right now? Is this how you see the next 70 years of your life? If not, then have a discussion with the people closest to you. Like, I think also you'd be surprised at how many people around you are going through something similar. And actually, it's not as strange as you think it is. Women have had this pitted against them for so long. We all have this image of how we're supposed to be, how we're supposed to look, how we're supposed to act.
Yeah.
But actually, if you take the significance out of how you're feeling and share it with other people, I think you'd be surprised.
How many people feel that way?
Yeah.
The skinny talk. Let's talk about skinny talk.
Oh my God. Yeah.
What are your thoughts on skinny talk? Because those people would think that they feel good.
Yeah.
They're in a community of other people who tell them how to be skinny. Foods to eat.
Yeah.
Foods to not eat. How to restrict yourself, how to not. There's this girl that actually followed for research purposes only. And it is shocking to me how she says, this is how you eat.
I know who you mean.
Yeah, this is how you eat
I've seen
a muffin.
Yeah.
And you take one bite of the middle,
one bite of it,
and then you breathe it in your mouth about 5 seconds, and then you swallow it. And I just think like it's so sad, but the people who comment it's like a cult.
I know.
Like they're saying to her like, oh my God, thank you so much for showing me this.
Good tips, yeah.
And this is such a good tip. Like I'll just smell a cinnamon bun and then I'll feel like I've eaten it and I'll trick myself by having a cinnamon bun tea.
Yeah. I am.
But those people would say that they're happy and they're happy to live the rest of their life restricted.
I mean, the thing that scares me is girls that are underage and that might, or not underage, the thing that scares me is girls that are really young and might stunt their growth and cause them really, because you need to fuel yourself. It's so important that you fuel significantly. And it scares me that the damage some of those women might be doing to their bodies.
Yeah.
But ultimately, I'm such a big believer in like, let women do what makes them happy.
So there's a conflict here, isn't there?
Yeah, but like
because they think that making themselves, but that is a conflict. Because
I'd never want to, like, it bothers me seeing women create like crap content about other women. Like I never want to be the person on the internet that's saying anything negative about another woman.
I know what you mean, because I feel like that. I hate people. This is such an ironic thing to say.
Yeah.
But I'm just so sick of accounts that say like, all influencers do this. I'm like, do you have nothing better to talk about than what other influencers are doing or not doing? Or
so it bothers you to see women doing well. Like,
all you're doing is finding an account and making money off this person that is obviously going viral for some reason, and you feel insecure, which is why you're doing it.
Yeah.
But then me talking about it is also doing the same thing. It's a difficult one.
Yeah.
It's a difficult one.
But honestly, like, you get to a point where you just realize I wouldn't have wanted to rush those previous stages in my life because I'm so good now. Like, I have such a good relationship with food now that, like, I went through what I went through. And I think those women,
they need to go through that journey.
Maybe they do, but I just don't want to make them feel any worse about themselves, because I don't think it will improve the situation.
Did anyone ever come up to you and talk to you about you having a bit of a problem with food? Because there is someone, you know, that I know, and I'm sure there's people that are listening and watching this, that they recognize that somebody is really restrictive.
Yeah.
They say, oh, I ate so much earlier.
Yeah.
And they are tiny.
Yeah.
And you don't know how to bring it up with them. Do you bring it up with them? Are you being a bad friend? Or are you then actually just being that friend that's just being annoying?
I mean, I had a couple of friends that were just like, hey, no judgment. We just wanted to let you know that we've noticed. Just hope you're good, kind of thing. Like, I had a couple of friends that did that. And actually, weirdly for me, the fact that someone noticed made me, because some of it was also just a control thing, like having some control over my life. And some of it just made me feel like I was succeeding at something and someone had noticed, which did also make me stop doing it. It did also help me stop. I don't really know if that a little bit, yeah.
Wouldn't it help someone who's such a high achiever be like, I'm going to keep doing it because then more people will notice? It's really tricky, isn't it?
Know. Yeah, it is.
Because I feel like that about this friend, because they will say things like, I haven't eaten anything all day.
Yeah.
And I know that they want me to notice.
Yeah.
But then I don't want to be the person that's saying to them.
But could you say, if she's addressing that, could you say like, are you okay?
I have said that.
Really?
And they've said, yeah, totally. What do you mean?
Yes.
And I'm like, I've noticed that you look really unwell. And they're like, I know, I have lost so much weight. And then they're like, I didn't mean to. But, you know, I've just been really stressed. And I'm like, I get it. Because also when I'm stressed, I lose a lot of weight.
Yeah.
So I do understand that as well. And it's very difficult to say to someone, do you have an eating problem?
Yeah.
How do you say that?
Well, I have a family member that always comes to the function saying how much she weighs. And I'm always like, I feel the same. Because also it has an impact on me. Like, yeah. I'm like, oh, so there's an amount that you think we should and shouldn't weigh. Like, I don't really know how to. I've actually never addressed it with her because I don't really know how to, and I don't really know how to make the situation better or worse. Like, I don't want to make it worse, so I've never given it much attention.
It's also that, like we said earlier, you have to do it for yourself.
Yeah.
And then if someone else keeps pointing, I don't know. I'm the kind of person that like, I really want to help people change, but sometimes people don't want to change.
Yeah.
And I have to also accept the fact that I'm not there to always be the lifesaver for everyone.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need to be the person that jumps in at every occasion that says, hey, let me change your life. Let me help. Like, they're like, I don't want your help. Get lost.
It's also so hard to know if they're voicing it because they want your help or if they just want you to praise them, or like, I
want the validation.
Yeah. I actually wouldn't, I don't know. It's such a tricky situation.
Do you have any days where you feel like you just want to give up?
I mean, I think that's life. Yeah. Yeah. I just don't see myself as a quitter now. Like, I just, and if I ever have days like that, I always say everything looks better on a night's sleep. Like, I should readdress tomorrow. If I ever spiral, I'm like, today's just a Thursday. Gonna have a good night's sleep. Like, it's just a Thursday. Take the power out of the day. It's just another day. It will look better after a good night's sleep, and then tomorrow I'll readdress. Because actually, for me, 9 times out of 10, it's just because I'm about to come my period.
Yeah. Oh my god, me too.
Awful.
Oh my god, my PMS is so bad. I want to do a whole podcast on hormones.
Yeah.
But how do we as women kind of unlearn that belief of one bad day isn't a whole bad month, which isn't a whole bad year, which isn't a whole bad life?
How do we?
Yeah.
I mean, you just have to keep repeating. I feel like that's more of an affirmation than you just have to tell yourself that constantly.
Yeah.
Like that's the point of the 10-minute rule for me. I'm like, 10 minutes is better than nothing.
So that's your daily practice every single day. It's like 10 minutes a day, which will help you with your food, which will help you with your mindset.
Yeah.
I get that. I really do understand that, because I think, you know, there's also this other thing of, you know, I asked you, do you feel like it's a control mechanism, or do you think it's really addictive? And it's like, there's worse things to be addicted to, isn't there?
But it's also really helps me get out of that all or nothing mindset. It's never all. Like, I'm never like, if say I had like 20 kilometers on my training plan and I didn't want to do it, I feel great for just doing 10 minutes. Because I'm just like, well done, you've done something. You've done something rather than nothing. Yeah. And that is, you actually do say that quite a lot. You're like, that piece of content, that's crap. At least you've done something better than nothing. Yeah, I love that. Yeah. Before we close, what's one advice you'd give to someone who's still feeling that they'll never get rid of their disordered eating? I think everything in life is an elephant eating exercise. I think that you've got to take tiny mouthfuls to get through this massive beast, and just to start small. I think that you shouldn't rush where you are right now. I think you should be really kind to yourself. I think you should start small by talking to someone, by making small rules for yourself. Like for me, it was going for a little walk. It was shifting the focus away from the way that my body looked and giving myself other things to go do. And like eventually, I really do think that voice will quieten down once you realize that you have more to offer than the way that you look. But we've said it a few times, but ultimately you just have to really evaluate if where you are right now is where you want to be for the rest of your life, and really think about if you were speaking to little girl you, if you were speaking to 10-year-old you, is the way you're treating her right now what you think she deserves, and respond accordingly.
I love that. I really, really, really resonate, because I think that we all have to make that choice of like, is this what I want from my life?
Yeah.
Is this what I want?
You deserve a fuller life.
And you have to take the action to get it.
Yeah.
Because unfortunately, everyone's got their own stuff to do.
Yeah.
And no one's going to come in and just take it all from you. Yeah.
Yeah. I promise you, more people than you realize are going through it. So actually, if you vocalize it, you might be surprised by the support you get.
Yeah, so true. I love that. Thank you, Savannah.
Thank you.
I feel like this episode will really help people to understand how growth, how eating, how your relationship with yourself is not a linear journey. It's like a constant up regression, finding a new thing, learning a new thing.
Yeah.
I also think that's just generally in life. Like life is literally not like that, and it's not like this. It is just completely up and down.
Definitely.
And I think a lot of people will find comfort and peace in knowing that they're not the only ones that are going through this. And as someone as successful and confident and amazing as you can get through it, then so can they.
I hope so.
Yeah.
Successful.